Hey everybody, what's up? Here at MLG Anaheim, I am Rivington III, joined with me as always by David Freak Turley. Freak, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. We are here bright and early. Well, kind of cloudy and foggy and early in the morning. And we are here with CLG versus CLG. And we said this was a tournament that Counter Logic Gaming Europe, it was their first big major LAN. And actually the players came up to me multiple times saying, so how many Challenger Circuit points can we get? And, how's this going to work? They really want to get, they really want to do well in a big LAN event. So being their first LAN, of course, it's the first time these two teams are really clashing in a major LAN tournament as well, which means who is the better Counter Logic Gaming lineup? We're about to find out.
We were talking to Yellow Pete a little bit over in the players area where the qualifiers are happening, or actually just the other games since the qualifiers happened, the lower bracket games rather. And he was saying that, I was like, have you guys played recently? It's going to be a ping difference when you go at it. But he's like, yeah, we actually had a chance Friday to go head-to-head against each other, and I heel-baited the crap out of everybody. Got a double kill bottom after they got first blood, but I don't think they're going to do that again. So these guys kind of still going in fresh at each other. They know the champion pools more than most, obviously. Both teams obviously knowing each other as they would pick one another up. So that's going to be a huge advantage for both of them to be like, hey, we're not going to want to play against this.
Yeah, they do know each other. You can see the Anivia ban out. So, I mean, look at these bans, right? So, this is beautifully orchestrated. I love CLG.NA's bans. They ban Aurelia, an obvious ban, against Wicked. They ban Anivia and Ari up against CLG Froggen, and then they first pick Kog'Maw. Now, as we saw from the match against Dignitas, that tends to be AP Kog'Maw, played by Big Fat. But they've basically taken 3 of the top mages that Froggen plays, and he was kind of their all-star yesterday. He did a bit of that carrying for CLG Europe, so I think it's wise for them to try to shut down these champions here.
Yeah, and they also ban out X-Hazard up top. They take out his Nidalee. Some jungling as well is out of there as well for Nautilus. And no Urgot, one of those champions along with Shen, who is still pickable here for controversial pick and ban this tournament. Leona and Snoopy being picked up, or Nocturne being picked up on Snoopy. That's going to be some good long-range initiation for them. X-Hazard still safe with that pick if it goes to Big Fat for staying outside of that initiation.
Yeah, so interesting to see, how much Shen was sought after, but Counter Logic Gaming Europe says, we know Shen's in the pool, it doesn't matter, we'd rather jungle Nocturne, rather have this early Leona grab. And CLG Europe are known for their aggressive bottom lanes, Leona Corki being a big one there. And they said, yeah, we're saying, hey guys, our bot lane's aggressive, we picked Leona, sup, what you got here? And so Counter Logic Gaming NA are going to say, well, we'll grab Graves, we'll grab Shen, we've got some nice tanky champions here. If you're going to pick a ranged carry, Graves is about as durable as you're going to get in that role. So they said, yeah, you'll be aggressive, but we can survive this. And there is that Corki, the insta-lock there on Karthus. And, we saw that with Dignitas versus Counter Logic Gaming yesterday night, where Dan predicted the Karthus grab against AP Cog because he wouldn't get bullied out and gets to farm. I actually saw Froggen this morning warming up his hands, playing Karthus in a 1v0 game, and he broke that 100 minions by 10-minute mark. Just chilling out, first game of the day, 4 hours of sleep. 103 minions in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good, as that's how many are actually going to spawn in your lane at the time. So not missing any AP. Those mages, always harder to last hit with, especially if you're going to be pushed to your turret. So we'll see what he can do as he gets into the game, and you're also trading damage at the same time. And as we said before, these picks are totally targeted. They took that Kog'Maw, and they took out that Anivia from Froggen. In 2 games yesterday, he went 24-0, but then he died just at the end of the game. So he is definitely someone to watch for CLG.EU.
Yeah, so now they put themselves in a good situation here, EU. So Counter Logic Gaming NA gets to say, okay, we get our support, we know what the bottom lane is, we can pick a lane into that, and that is a valuable addition. However, they've got to pick their top laner now, and unless they pick sort of ambiguous champions here, with Shen and maybe a Lee Sin, where each one could go somewhere, Counter Logic Gaming Europe gives Wicked the chance to counterpick that top lane. And that is extremely important. Hazard has been carrying for CLG.NA a fair amount through this tournament. Wicked, a phenomenally skilled player as well. So if you give 2 great players and you give one of them a good matchup, you're going to have something a little bit troubling here. And interestingly, they're going in for a poke comp here. They're grabbing Jungle Trundle. They're going to grab Shen for the top lane. And, of course, they have that AP cog, so, yeah, it's going to work out for them.
Yeah, this is actually really good. It's kind of like wall counters to each other. You got the Pillar of Filth coming from Trundle if everybody gets walled up by Froggen's Wall of Pain from Karthus. Both are going to slow. Karthus doing a little bit more with the MR shredding, and that magic resistance is going to go down if you walk through the wall. So he can kind of negate that, or both can initiate on that as well. Long range initiations there again for both teams. Shen with the ulti, Chouster on Alistar, a very aggressive support. So that is going to be a hard and aggressive bottom lane, but like you said, CLG.EU, the Leona, Corki, very aggressive as well.
Oh, and their team comp is ridiculous for this. I like what they've done here. Two things I like what they've done here is they grabbed Malphite for that solo top.
Seeing a lot of Malphite this tournament.
Yeah, it's like it's a year ago when solo top Malphite was all anyone ever played, and it was just terrorizing North America and European play. But what I like what CLG has done, Europe rather, is that they can just jump on someone. They've got the Malphite ultimate. Karthus can ult from across, really anywhere. Leona has that same sort of advantage. Her ultimate's going to just kind of own people. Snoopy on Nocturne can dive in. Yellow Pete's not going to want to do that so much on Corki, but I mean he can if he needs to. And now it's like, well, you've got an Alistar. He's got good crowd control, but you don't have a Janna. Janna, with that ultimate Monsoon really pushing everyone back. We'll see if Chouster can do it well enough as Alistar here, or if the burst damage from CLG Europe is going to be too much.
Yeah, we'll see this game coming up in just a few seconds as we load into the game. We'll be right back after this. All right, everyone, and we are back into the game. David Freak Turley here, along with myself, Rivington III, bringing you all the action. We are going to get this game underway, Freak. Both teams heading into the jungle.
Yes, indeed. You're going to see a bit of a split on both sides. Froggen checking these brushes as Karthus wants to make sure that everything's going to be okay. But guys, just as a quick check, though, if the game sounds or the commentator volume are off whack, you saw those Twitters up there on the screen a second ago, at Riot Freak, at Rivington the 3RD. If anything's out of whack, tweet at us. Let us know what's going on there. Make sure that we get this up. We're actually driving the sound levels here. I got the switchboard right in front of me. So if something's out of whack, if teamfights get a little bit loud, let me know. I'll bring those sounds down. The power is yours, as Captain Planet would say. So make sure that you let us know what's going on. But as Riv said, we're here into this game. This is the loser bracket semis, I believe. No, hold on. Yeah, right? I am no. Not loser bracket semis, loser bracket quarterfinals, because we've got another sort of 3 sets of loser bracket matches here. CLG.NA playing against CLG.EU. On the other streams here, especially if you have that MLG HD pass, you can watch multiple streams at once. You can see the other match going on here between Fnatic and Team Dynamic. That one is actually already underway. Dynamic had picked up first blood there, and I don't quite know how the rest of it's going down, but you see Hotshot going for some early pressure here, picking up these Wraiths there, getting some good XP and gold.
Yeah, looks like Big Fat's going to come over, give him a little bit of help, and just make that faster. League of Legends, a game of seconds. They're just trying to get to the jungle, and these first 4 minutes really come into play very big if you're going to see the jungler early coming out into the lane. As we see Snoopy taking down his blue buff, looking over to see if he did use his smite, and he did not, so he's going to go for that fast red, and we may see some aggression from Snoopy coming out in that top lane or mid lane very quickly. He's going to be able to disperse into either of those lanes since the red buff is top for that purple side. Looks like we got some pings down bottom. They did say, hey, there's a ward in the bottom bush. Don't come down here. It's going to be pretty much a waste of time if you do. We see Double Lift continuing to last hit while trading a little, not even trading damage, but just giving damage to Yellow Pete there.
Yeah, one of the things you want to do in that bottom lane is whenever an opponent goes for a last hit, you want to walk in there and land some damage yourself. And that's kind of how they're going to keep doing this. It says, you basically watch your own health bar. You say, oh, one of mine's low, attack the enemy champion. One of mine's low, attack the enemy champion. One of yours is low. Hit the minion, try not to die in the process. You can see Doublelift coming in there, harassing back on a Yellow Pete, pushing backwards right now. Of course, they know that Leona, played by Crappo, can come in there and do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, we just saw Nocturne top, and it looks like Trundle's going to rotate in and out. Knowing that Nocturne has left that position, Lift is hurt bottom right now, and we're going to have to see if Double can get out of there.
Looks like he's survived the encounter so far, has health potions, and again, he's laned up with an Alistar who does have the ability to heal. So it shouldn't be the worst situation in the world, but Nocturne may be coming around for a flank, but the ward is already down. Nice move by CLG Gaming to get that ward into a safe position. Snoopy coming around at level 3 and Hazard. You see he's playing towards the back and knows he's about to get ganked. And Snoopy's
going
like,
into middle. Trundle coming in. The Contaminate is down. He's going to be able to run faster on that terrain. Big Fat with some attacks. Are they going to have the slow there? It wears off. He is going for the potions, trying to lay waste. The pillar goes down, but he is not slowed. Getting help now from Snoopy on Nocturne, and they were just not able to converge fast enough. But top lane coming down, backside on the back. It looks like Hotshot taking a bit of damage here, but he is definitely going to have the upper hand on damage. The exhaust goes down, and they are going to start backing off here. Everybody trading a good amount of damage. 300 the average right now for everyone in mid. 250 on Froggen. It looks like Big Fat's coming in. He does try to get the Void Ooze down. Contaminate goes down once again by Hotshot. The speed now slows as he loses that terrain, and I don't think they're going to be able to finish off any of these kills.
Yeah, Wicked came down just in time and landed that slow. And you saw an earlier fight between Trundle and Nocturne. Trundle, probably one of the best level 6 and earlier duelists. He sucks up your attack damage. Good luck, and then he gets, of course, more for himself, so good luck fighting that one. Yellow Pete getting bursted down. Nice initiation there by Chowster, making those fights a little bit easier for his team.
Yep, very aggressive Chowster. Doublelift happy to have a laner like that. It's actually the way they grabbed X-Hazard. He was playing support for Doublelift, and Doublelift was like, hey, we should probably friend each other and work something out here. Because I heard when he was playing with that Alistar, every 3 minutes he would say, wow, he's doing the right thing. So Doublelift, more than happy to have an Alistar in his lane, knowing what he's doing. And that's Chowster. Those guys, a very good composition.
Yep, absolutely. You can see Hazard still shoving up this top lane. Wicked getting harassed a little bit. Now, the thing to remember, though, is Shen actually has some innate health sustained. He can get his health back up, keep himself alive, no matter what Malphite really does to him. Malphite really only has that passive shield that we talked about last night, where it's going to come by and block some damage, but then any other damage past that is basically permanent. It sticks onto him, and he kind of gets harassed down. But you can see that pick is working out. 28-16 on minions. He is actually denying Shen pretty successfully, so I got to hand it to Wicked for playing a very stellar lane so far.
Yeah, Malphite just seeming to be very good here. You do take that less damage. The ground slam is really effective at slowing the attack speed. You're able to walk away and usually only get hit one time. That's your shield, especially against Shen. It's only really going to be a long-range Vorpal Blade, and if you're leveling that shard, it does do quite a bit of damage. It's going to start hitting for chunks. We see Trundle coming up top again. All the wards have been expended in that area. The 3 minutes have passed. It looks like he's just actually going to ward for Hazard.
Yeah, it seems to be the case there. Hotshot kind of running around.
Still there.
Oh, he has a chance to gank. Of course, they don't see him come in. This could be a very scary situation. Wicked kind of pushing him down. Now he's level 6, which means he could escape almost anything he wants. Nocturne is around, but is only level 4, which means he's not going to jump into that fight too early. And despite having a flank on, Hotshot decides not to go for it. He's going to back off on that battle.
Yeah, maybe just feeling he wasn't going to get the kill would be a waste of experience and maybe a little bit too much damage and ruin the lane, but Malphite still pushed up, actually taking a hit there pretty hard from that Vorpal Blade since he didn't have a shield. Zenith Blade coming out at a double lift, a very nice headbutt. The Gatling not doing any damage. He did get hit a few times there from the hit on Leona and the stun. So a very good trade and overall in their favor on that one. Potions going off, Alistar healing up as much as possible. As minions die in the lane, that heal is going to come up faster for him. So the last hitting is going to be effective for their lane in more than one case.
Yeah, well, CLG Gaming taking control of, CLG Gaming.NA taking control of that lane. They dropped a vision ward, that pink ward, down to that brush. They don't want to have Nocturne sneak in here and try to jump in for the gank. They know that he's going to be close to 6. They know he's going to want to sneak in for some kills. And they want to make sure that they don't get caught up by surprise.
Karthus now returning to middle after grabbing blue. Froggen is going to be able to just spam out his spells even more now, kind of refreshing his mana. Nocturne at Wraiths. Everybody's just really doing their own thing. Bottom lane still being aggressive. The Corki Leona is just not sustaining as well because Leona can't heal. And Chaucer's doing a very good job of keeping Corki out of the fight when the damage is being traded. Wicked coming up on Hazard very strong. He hasn't even broken that passive shield. And it looks like Hazard is going to start losing this one since Malphite has gone back. Wicked has a little bit more of an advantage here in his inventory, so Hazard's going to get that for himself as well.
Great opening. You can see Counter Logic Gaming Europe have built a 900 gold lead just from the laning phase. No dragons, no turrets, no champion kills, but they're outlast hitting pretty much all the way through. You're seeing Doublelift. As we always have said, Doublelift just always wins on farm, but he is the only one here. We've got 43 versus 31 in the jungle. We've got 59 on Malphite versus 38 on Shen. 74 on Karthus to only 52 here for that AP Kog'Maw. So Counter Logic Gaming Europe really putting on a dominant show in the jungle so far. However, you can kind of be behind 10 to 20% and just win team fights if your team composition is just better. And Counter Logic Gaming.NA, they're running a poke composition. They're running long range with disruption, meaning they can fight and deal damage from out of range, and that can always win you some battles.
Wicked moving down from top quite quickly to rotate mid lane and keep that Froggen occupied. Or Big Fat rather, on Kog'Maw. Oh, going in for Unstoppable Force, a beautiful flash there. Not going to have enough mana to really retaliate on that, but Big Fat saving himself. Definitely did not have enough health to take that Malphite combo.
And that's really good reflexes. That ultimate comes by very, very fast. So he was on the ball. He said, there's a Malphite here. Get ready for my flash button. Oh, bam! Dodge it, dodge it. Nice, very nice play by Big Fat to survive that encounter.
Here we go. Now that X Hazard has his items, you have the Philo Stone and the Heart of Gold on Malphite. The 2 gold per 10 items to the 1 onto X Hazard. And only giving him health, so his regen is not as good as Malphite's. The fight may go in his favor again. Wicked playing quite aggressive in his lane. We do see top lane moving out. X Hazard is going to start to focus bottom. They're going after Karthus right now, and it looks like Nocturne will be there for the counter. He gets too close to the turret, and they start to back off. They're trying to get that blue buff.
Yeah, they're going to try to push in. The golems will respawn in the next few minutes. I'm trying to remember where everyone started. I feel like they all started at blue. The 7-minute buff went to both players here, although Big Fat got his fairly recently. He's got a minute and a half left on his, which means he picked it up a minute and a half ago. Means Big Fat picked it up at 9 minutes so far. His will come back at 14, but Froggen, that Karthus, his will come up a bit sooner. So they're staggered here, which means the team with the advantage can get both golems because they'll be separate spawns. They can go for the one golem, pause, regroup, go for the other golem, and they can start denying resources. So we'll see if one of these teams builds up a big advantage. They can really snowball themselves ahead.
Both teams bottom with a forward ward in the bushes. A headbutt out on Leona leaves Corki to do a little bit of damage. The first time Chaucer has selected Leona to be the headbutt. And you can see where Chaos, or Doublelift rather, took a little too much damage on that. You see Wicked kind of backing off there. Chaucer is going to be able to heal Doublelift though, so it really doesn't matter as much. Yellow Pete doing what he can to keep his CS up 85 to 95. Not so much behind. He did get a Vampire Acceptor because they don't have that sustained heal.
Yeah, I've seen that build a bit when you don't have the healer lane. The double Doran seems to be pretty standard. Zerkagrease, oh no, some jumping on to Doublelift. He's going to flash, but still gets slowed. Exhaust is on as well. The Karthus ult around. First Blood picked up. Karthus actually locked in onto that one. It was the last possible second. And that is what this team is good at. They are good at dunking on people. I've actually seen this composition many times before, specifically these 4 champions, where Leona Corki initiates, Nocturne ults in, and then Karthus just presses R. You've got basically a 4 versus 1 at that point, and there is almost no way you escape those battles. You've got multiple stuns, you've got the death laser from Karthus, and even if you tried to escape, Nocturne will follow you through with that paranoia. It is a very, very scary composition, and I love that CLG.EU is running it because it's just so much fun to watch.
There's a few things that happened on that first time, and I think Doublelift is going to remember for the second time there can be 3 ultimates that are hitting him in the face if he is fighting one-on-one without those 2 globals, is that he does not want to burn Flash and Ignite just before he dies, and that's what he did. So that hurts him a little bit more and may even cause the lane to be babysat that much more for the next 3 or so minutes.
And of course, we'll see what they can do with that. The difficulty here is, of course, Yellow Pete on Corki. He has that Valkyrie spell, his W, which lets him kind of just charge across the map and get away from scary spots. Of course, Chaucer can initiate. Hotshot can put that Trundle pillar down, and really lock someone up, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for that NA lineup to really put that same pressure on the bottom lane. They just don't quite have that same reach.
Looks like Shen able to sustain now with Vorpal Blade a little bit better here, working out well for him. Coming down into mid, we do have Karthus, I believe, grabbing another blue as it came back up, or the blue came up.
We're seeing Shen still trying to stay up in that lane, still behind in minions, and of course with the double gold per 10 there onto Wicked, he's going to fall farther behind. 30 gold a minute is what you're going to get from a gold per 10 item, and so you get those in at the 5-minute mark. By the say the 15-minute mark, it's 300 gold you've earned from each of those items. By the 30, 40 minute mark, you're getting almost 1,000 gold coming in because of these builds. You can get yourself really far ahead if you can sort of take the risk to buy some gold per 10 and then sustain from there.
Looks like Corki trying to go for the Triforce here. He does have the Vampiric Scepter, and he goes for Sheen. That's going to give him a lot of burst damage. It'd kind of be like Graves' Q. Double Lift gets in close, he's going to Q. Corki will be able to do that every few seconds. After he uses an ability, he will proc his Sheen for that attack. We're going to have to see if that helps him out. With the Gatling, he should be able to take out Graves in a fight now. But again, they have that Alistar heal in lane. It could still be difficult. Looks like Wicked is warding a bit here. Warding that blue. And they may be going back around for it. They are gathering there, Big Fat. Wicked on the outside. Karthus not moving to the area yet, so it looks like Froggen will not be assisting here. They're going to let this one go. Wicked returns to top lane, and blue again to Big Fat in mid.
Alrighty, so we're going to see these lanes reset a little bit as the minions shove to this bottom turret. Actually, it's kind of crazy. CLG Europe, although they were winning, actually I shouldn't say necessarily winning, 118 to 123. The bottom lane, they got that kill before. This bottom lane is going pretty much in CLG North America's favor. Now, yes, 1 kill is worth more than 6 minions, absolutely. But CLG North America are shoving down to the turret, and that turret is taking a lot of damage, and that's very, very important. Wicked getting taunted right now. Hot shot in the fray as well. His ultimate goes off. There is the charge out from Wicked, popping his ult there. And that's going to be him escaping, but blowing a very big cooldown to make that happen. A fight in mid though, Froggen versus Big Fat, getting very, very low. He almost walks back in, but the artillery is doing a lot to Froggen right now. But the Nocturne ult shows up, and I gotta feel like Big Fat didn't realize that was going to happen there, because he wasn't going to be able to chase down that Karthus quite enough. Or maybe he knew he was going to die to the Karthus ult. He knew there was no chance, so he's like, well, I'll just go for it. I'll try to just commit. Yeah. And it was instead Nocturne that got it.
That's true. He was going to walk away and just hit it, but he has it up still. A beautiful Leona ult. The Shen ult comes out and actually stops him since Trundle went down too fast. Hotshot falls down by Dragon. X-Hazard now left up top. Not with much. Wicked still able to do damage and keep him at his turret. Shen not the best at last hitting at the turret, but also not the worst.
No, he's got a couple of different burst spells. You can see him just going to get ready, use that Q, everything like that. He's going to do a good enough job here. Stoopy shoving down into mid lane. That turret's down to about 1/3 health. And let's kind of do a quick check on tower durability. So, actually, Malphite now 30 seconds on ult. He won't burst down hazards. That'll be fine. But the top lane, right? Turret's at 40%. CLG.EU, untouched. Mid lane, turret's at 1/3. CLG.EU, untouched. Bottom lane, however, CLG.NA has gotten a lot of pressure there, and theirs is untouched. So again, the top and middle lanes doing very well for CLG Europe. And in general, they're up 3 kills to none. They're up a Dragon. They're winning in general. However, this bottom lane, I think CLG.NA are just really known for their bottom lane. Double Lift always gets farmed, and he always does pretty well in these games.
Yeah, being able to have extra damage from Karthus is really going to help all the lanes, and they're utilizing it very well. The heal from bottom, though, is definitely pushing CLG.EU back. Yellow Pete and Crepo having kind of a tough time with that Alistar sustain lane, being headbutted out all the time. The cooldowns are used and then, pushed out of the way, leaving Double Lift to just head in there, buckshot, and do all the damage he wants to do, while Leona can't get to him because of Pulverize and Headbutt. We do have Malphite. X-Hazard, Wicked, kind of meeting in this bush here. Looks like he's going to get the Vorpal Blade down, hit him up, kind of get some health back from that as it stays on Malphite. And he goes for the potion. He really didn't lose that much health. He probably could have just leveled within the next few seconds, gotten that health back, but he's playing it safe, and doesn't cost that much for him.
Yeah, as you can see, Big Fat and Froggen kind of going back and forth. Double Lift going for some pressure here. Yellow Pea taking a bit of pain right there. Kind of forced away right now. Health down to half. Hazard with that Wit's End is doing some very good harass. You can break Wicked's shield very easily. He tries to jump in, keep his health going. You can see Hazard is sustaining quite nicely. Wicked wants to disengage kind of every time, get that shield back, and then kind of going for some more pressure. You can see him kind of clearing these minions down. The ground slam goes off, and he's just happy to just sort of sit there. But some good harass back again from Hazard, getting Wicked down to 2/3. Wicked must just throw out a spell and then back out again.
Yeah, trying to stand in front of his turret, keep them away from that turret so it doesn't eat up the experience. Living artillery coming down onto Froggen each time. It's going to do a little bit more damage as it takes down that armor. Great hit by Hazard there. Vorpal Blades on, just trying to keep that harass down. No reason Hazard should not be, or should be always throwing those. Because it's energy, it's going to come up quite fast. Shen has a role in which to use his skills, and he'll get a little back for taunting through. So you can see how it's coming back very slow as he's just used Vorpal Blades, but he will be able to get that back way faster than Malphite will get his mana.
Alright, and we're going to see what he's going to be able to do with this one. Wicked thankfully has that Philosopher's Stone, so his mana's not going down too terribly quickly. His shield actually able to fully tank a Vorpal Blade from Shen, which means that unless Shen really commits to harassing Malphite, he won't actually shove him out in any meaningful time.
It's like Corky, or Big Fat rather, going back down towards the Wolves, just trying to get some experience for himself. We talked about this a lot yesterday with Dignitas. Mid lanes liking to farm the Wraiths and the other camps around the jungle. If your jungler's getting enough experience from the lanes, keep feeding those lanes that are doing well. Right now, Big Fat a little behind, so he's definitely going to need the more experience right now.
Yeah, well, the good thing that's going for him though is he's got he's level 13 now. He's maxed out that the goop Void Ooze. He's got rank 2 of his ultimate, and here comes Nocturne up on the bottom. Double Lift immediately bursted down the Karthus ult and just completely drops down. Chaucer recalling or flashing away, pops his ultimate, survives that little bit of damage here. Wicked getting taunted under the turret, but he's got 228 armor. He's already gotten that Frozen Heart there. He's got regeneration. Now Froggen jumping on a Big Fat. Some good damage being dealt here. Exhaust goes off. He's going to flash away, survive the encounter, and now Froggen forced back. But this turret so very low, he could commit to it.
Contaminate goes down. Doesn't look like the Pillar of Filth will catch. Wicked easily getting out of that one. Playing very cautious in that top lane. Had wards in the right position. Was able to see the come around from Hotshot with Trundle. They're pinging Trundle now. They do see him going back in the jungle. And this is going to give pretty much everybody on CLG.EU free reign of their lanes. Not free reign, but they're a lot more happy to push forward, do damage, and not really worry about who's going to come up behind them. The warding, however, really good by both teams, so they're not going to see too many ganks right now.
Yeah, CLG Gaming Europe, though, about to switch the mode of this game. Oh, the burst on a Hazard, so much damage being dealt. Puts his shield on, but Wicked will keep taking this one. Has low cooldowns, will get one more spell off. The ground slam blocked by a shield, and oh my gosh, he doesn't even get it. Perfect shielding coming out from Hazard. 90 health left. And part of what he did there was actually put on some attacks using that Wit's End. Whenever you attack with a Wit's End, you gain some magic resist. Additionally, when you attack after putting a Vorpal Strike on someone, you gain health for the next few seconds. And it was Hazard actually saying, I can't just run, I need to get my resistance and health back up. That allowed him to survive that dive. That was a beautiful play by him. I really, really like what he did there. Hazard, despite playing early in the morning, had such clarity in that battle to make a lot of really tough decisions.
Yeah, he could have done a lot of things. He could have just went ahead, taunted Malphite under the turret, and kind of gotten that walk-away kite that you'll get for a few seconds before Malphite would be able to shard again. But like you said, played very well. He knew he had to turn around, sustain a little bit more with the Vorpal Blade, knew what kind of time he had to wait for his shield to come back up, and just overall stopped Wicked from getting that kill that he should have had. CLG now focusing on that bottom. EU is going to be able to grab this dragon, and it looks like that will be back up at 27-34.
Alrighty, and they're going to go and grab that one. And a nice little move there. Snoopy new to, yeah, this is a little tip for you guys. Snoopy right here, this Nocturne. Hold on, actually, fight here. Froggen and Hazard getting slowed by that wall, and oh my gosh, the damage output. Froggen is not missing layaways. He's going to go down, and then stun up onto Big Fat as well. Can they chase into this one? Krepo does not have his cooldowns, but there is Nocturne up in this. They're going to keep trying the Karthus ult there as well. Krepo taking a lot of damage, but they will pick up that kill. However, Krepo not going to like what Big Fat's trying to do here, and there is the kill onto the scoreboard as Big Fat LP. Doing a good job. What I want to talk about with Snoopy, though, is on that Nocturne, they knew that Trundle, the jungler on the other team, was at top lane, and so he saved his smite. Yellow Pete, though, in turret range, stunned by Alistair, and dropped down. A beautiful job there. Chaucer headbutting him into the turret, stunning him still in turret range. All the burst came down. They put the Ignite to counteract that Summoner heal. An amazing job by CLG.NA to pull up that kill in the lane.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job at kind of turning these things around when they're going awry. Right now, 6-2, the favor with 2 turrets at 23 minutes into the game is definitely the CLG.EU right now. 1 turret, however, being picked up here, kind of negating and adding to the few kills that happened. Evening up the score. 4 is the deficit right now for CLG.NA, so they will need that to kind of bring themselves right back in this, unless they can start grabbing more objectives. That dragon from EU is going to hurt them and set them back a little bit. This wall of pain goes down. Hazard trying to chase, taking a few layways, taunts over the wall. He may have enough damage, but definitely not with exhaust. Froggen having to blow a summoner spell there just for a taunt. That's great for X Hazard.
Yeah, good job there by that Shen. Froggen still doing a good job cutting away, surviving that battle, but yeah, had to burn that exhaust, not the best. So yeah, good move by Hazard. He's still playing very, very well. Unfortunately, that lane was not going great for him. You can see the lowest minion kills of the major carries on CLG.NA. But you can see if they can get this back together. He does have the ability to split push and then show up to a fight later on, which means he can go and take solo top, force the rest of CLG.EU to group together to fight the potential team fights, and Shen can catch back up with no major issues. Of course, still a phenomenal player and still getting a good amount of farms, so he's going to be in pretty good shape before too long.
So as we look at some of the finished item builds, the Wits End into Phage now. Shen a little bit behind on the build considered to Malphite. Frozen Heart, Giant's Belt, still has the 2 gold per 10 as well. The Philosopher's Stone and the Heart of Gold also helping him regen, and he turns that Philosopher's Stone into a Shurelya's. Very nice there. That's going to give his entire team movement speed, plus that shard will steal movement speed from whoever it hits, and he will gain that percentage. So it makes Malphite very fast and one of the best initiators with his unstoppable force. We do see some Infinity Edge on Double Lift to the Triforce and a Vampiric Scepter on Corki. So both of them have a little bit of sustain and damage. You can see the vision is not very good for CLG.NA here, Freak. They're starting to move in from the left side. Baron taking a good amount of damage. It just goes down. The Wall of Pain down as well. The Nocturnal comes down. Paranoia onto Big Fat. He will go down quite fast. No, he will not. Stopped by Shen. Stand united. Unstoppable force for 1 champion. Will that be enough to keep them going? Yes, it will. They still turn them around, keeping them on their heels. And Wicked from CLG.EU picking up that kill on Big Fat, and Chaucer went down as well towards Baron. Hotshot getting caught out here, may go down, keeps himself alive. They do drop Froggen. He will not have his ultimate to cast off. Requiem was just used in that Baron.
Wow, and Hotshot with a nice play there, had not actually used his ultimate yet in the fight. When you cast it, actually gives you that burst healing, where it steals some health from the enemy champion. Hotshot basically baited that fight out and said, I'll survive here, it's okay. They had to, the rest of CLG.EU had to kind of follow up to get the burst onto Graves. But aside from that, I mean, that was a great play by Trundle to actually bait that kill out. Survived it beautifully. Fought CLG.EU with the numbers advantage. Gonna jump in on Shen, going for the inhibitor as well. Trundle Pillar goes down. Hazard will make it out. And now Yellow Pea in the fray, taking a lot of damage right there. He might escape this. He's exhausted. But now he's back in. And this Kog'Maw not liking his chances. Oh, and the amazing burst from Malphite already is back. So much damage coming out there. 2 for 0 so far. CLG.NA trying to chase back down. Shurelya's Revelry pop. Wicked going to toss out a couple of slows here. Hotshot taking some damage. Going to get stunned up, but Alistar in the mix. Going to try to stop any pressure here. Double Lift, full health, a lot of items as well. Is kind of hiding in the back and scaring everyone out, but they got the inhibitor. That's what they really wanted to do. CLG.EU came out ahead.
Yeah, they're really doing a great job at focusing down Big Fat in these fights. He's going to be able to stay on the outside, but they say, no, we have all the means to jump on you instantly. We have Leona, we have Nocturne, we have Malphite, Karthus to slow everybody, Valkyrie from Corki. These guys are really mobile, and it's hard to get away from an initiation. You have to have Alistar and Trundle come in. Shen's going to have to ult, but he has to stand there for a second before he can do that, or waste a taunt on whoever initiated onto your carry, and that's going to be one of the tanky guys. You want to be able to focus their carries. So CLG.EU in a very good position for just pushing CLG.NA in the direction they want.
Yes, indeed. You can see just Double Lift trying to catch up. That is the man they need to get farmed. Now, CLG.EU against Team Solo Mid yesterday, it was all about that AP Kog'Maw played by Froggen. But right now, I think Graves might be their best chance here. I think it's going to be a really big deal if they can keep that Graves farmed, if they can get him up actually past Corki in minion kills. And the thing is, look at the scoreboard, right? Of course they have the Dragons, Barons, and so Yellow Pete will have more gold, but this Corki has 1 kill, 3 assists, 220 minions. 2 kills to 0 assists is pretty similar gold as far as champions, and he's got more minions. So we can look at this gold comparison here. Graves at 8,700, Corki at 9,500. So yes, an 800 gold difference, but that is all from Dragon and Baron. Doublelift has kept up in farm despite the 3-11 scoreline. Otherwise, very kept up here, and he can do a phenomenal job in this late game. And we'll see if he can burn through the melee targets here, like Wicked and Crepo in these team fights.
Froggen, so much CS, as he said before when he was just going by himself. 330 there, has the Void Staff. Another needlessly large rod, which he's probably going to build into that. Zhonya's so powerful right now. 662 AP, but he may be the first to go down, and it will not be a zombie Karthus for this fight. It looks like they're going to have to back off, though, without him having that much health. Can he get the Pillar of Filth down for the choke? They are going up towards that red buff. We see that Shen is trying to ultimate. He gets taken down by Snoopy. Going back down, Requiem doing a lot of damage to Doublelift and Big Fat. And Chaucer Hotshot also take a good chunk of damage as well. Not what you want to see be happening to your tanks.
Yeah, they all go down to half. Froggen having a just giant farm fest in this game. 333 minions at 29 minutes in. The dude is very, very rich. Rush that Rod of Ages for some sustain, and then let's look at that ability power. Got Death Cap into Void Staff. So we went mostly Glass Cannon Karthus and managed to die only once on a dive. Now going for a Zhonya, so it'll be even more difficult for him to die. And, you know, I like that Karthus play more than the run in, die immediately, hope you can do enough damage. He's instead going for this build where he just dives. He doesn't even dive in too hard. He kind of stays in a good position, gets that wall down, and while they're slow, just starts picking them off and doing so much damage and participating in fights by pressing R even when he's off farming the map somewhere else.
52,000 to 36,000 right now. Quite a demanding lead, 16K. Froggen grabbing up that blue buff. We'll have Wolves grabbed as well. He's looking to go all the way to 400 CS this game. 30 minutes now into this one, 12 to 3. CLG.EU with a demanding lead. Came out very early in this game. X Hazard doing big things for his team, trying to keep that top lane going, but Wicked had a dominating top lane, and he was just able to push X Hazard out quite early. They got up top, got some good ganks down. He has 0 and 3 from that, and everybody's been forced to pretty much do what the EU team wants them to do.
CLG kind of coming out, CLG.NA coming out from their base. 16,000 gold lead right now is a pretty big deal. CLG.EU definitely in the advantage so far. But again, this composition from NA is able to hold on to things. Graves is getting farmed. Kog'Maw is now level 16, well actually 17, but the level 16 means he gets his rank 3 ultimate, which gives him max range artillery, and that is a very big deal. They can do a bunch of damage from out of range, and no one on Counter Logic Gaming can heal anyone. So any damage they deal in that way is going to be permanent, and if he can get just good positioning and picks off Froggen, yeah, okay, that Karthus can still pop his ultimate into a fight and it'll hurt really badly, but you knock off one of the major sources of damage output and you really screw with their ability to fight here. And that's what Counter Logic Gaming NA needs. They need that artillery to work. They need that poke to go through and deal some very significant damage. You see EU instead going to try to bait a fight out, but how can you bait and brush when you're fighting a Kog'Maw? All he has to do is paint those little choke points with his ultimate, and you kind of invalidate their chance of poking in.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. They should probably wait for Corki to get that heal up, but they may go in for this one. They're kind of pushing back. They may get, oh, very nice word from Hotshot. They are going to know that they're behind them. They say, let's clear these minions. We don't want to give them vision, and there you are, as Freak said. Kog'Maw painting the bush. Big Fat trying to pick somebody out here.
And they're trying to time the Baron respawn.
Yep, there it is. Baron being attacked. Lay Waste and Defile is going to drop it very hard. A lot of damage from the Triforce Infinity Edge combo along with Hotshot. And they are going to go in for the fight. Hotshot diving onto Big Fat. He gets out, goes for the cleanse as well. Requiem comes down and nails Big Fat GG. A Cathian surprise to do a little bit of true damage. Anybody's happy to take that right there. As you see, it really doesn't affect them as they are now advancing into the base. That inhibitor is going to go down, and they have a minion wave just at River. But look at this. We do have a Hazard pushing top, so he's going to negate a little bit of gold there for Baron. The inhibitor is down, though, so they are definitely, they have the upper hand in this situation on CLG.EU's side as they bash away at the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, 5 versus 2. The Shen ult goes off. Chowster will survive that. Shen shows up, but Chowster taking a whole lot of damage. Froggen will fall for this battle, but he's going to get double lift very, very low. They pick up the kill on the Shen. Double kill for Corki, and now double lift is alone in a 1 versus 4. Now a 2 versus 4. Hotshot shows back up. The pillar is there. He's going to Shirelius in, but gets slowed by Malphite. Krepo's not the right target at this point. He's very, very durable. Wow, Leona, 146 armor and 100 magic resist and 2,600 health. That is not a support. That is a tank at this point. That is not an easy kill for just 2 members of CLG.NA to take down. Right now, the driver's seat being held by all 5 members of CLG.EU. Stubby trying to go for the steal, does get it, but Niao into a 1 versus 2. Smokescreen comes off, fighting this double lift, and here comes Big Fat LP. Not going to be good for Snoopy. Gets shut down right now. And now with 20,000 gold to make up, CLG.NA says, well, one inhibitor is down, minions will flow into our base. Let's see if we can hold on.
Yeah, they do have super minions in there, which means that CLG.EU has vision of the entire base right now. So they want to get those cleared out. They want to push these waves. And they're going to have to wait for this inhibitor to come back up before they really want to initiate anything. Baron on CLG.EU also causes CLG.NA to be very cautious right now. We may see them just heading out a little bit to throw out some wards. There's one on the path to Baron, and just around the bend we see in River. But really, if they're not going to be in the jungle and they're going to initiate under towers in their base, they want to do that, be safe right now, and wait for that inhibitor.
Wow, so we can see the rest of CLG kind of pulling towards the back, realizing that, you know, they're going to be on the back side of this game right now. They've got 4 minutes to go until Baron respawns. They've got, or sorry, 4.5 till 4 minutes till their inhibitor respawns. The Baron is just over halfway done, so we've got, what, a minute and a half left on that roughly, and then another 3 minutes there. So you've got 4.5 minutes, so about 39 minutes when that Baron's going to respawn. That's when they're going to worry about that timer. But until then, CLG.EU says, well, we got a minute and a half of this Baron buff. We can push with it. We can do a lot of damage. It's going to be a pretty big deal.
Here we go. Corki with that GA. He is going to be very scary now. Somebody to focus, but to come back to life, do you want to blow your cooldowns on that? There's a lot of tanks around to just stand there and lock you down. Unstoppable force. Leona's ult. Nocturne coming in from afar. CLG.EU looking very good right now and poised to take this game. If they can batter down this next turret, they'll have free reign over the front side of CLG.NA's base. And they will have their number. It looks like CLG.NA getting ready to defend on this one. They are gathered towards mid here. They think it's going to be a straight shot. There is a little bit of vision of them all down bottom, so they're going to say, yeah, we need to focus it there. X-Hazard was going to go up top with Alistar, but he still will. They say, you're fine up there. If we need you, stand united in and help us out. So it looks like they are just going to stop and try to convert the split push by minions back into their favor and maybe get a little bit of ground here.
There we go. Finally, Big Fat LP on Kog'Maw landing one of those living artillery shots. Froggen losing about a quarter of his health. They want to keep that spam coming down, but until they really land a shot, there we go. Yellow Pete taking some damage as well. Big Fat doing some good pain, but there's the wall. They're going to try to initiate here. They're sending Malphite into the front. Artillery doing some good damage with that pillar. Froggen down below half. He's still getting poked out. This could be very, very bad for Froggen. He's one hit from dead. Gets picked up there by Doublelift. Shen ult goes on. Hotshot going to initiate, taking a lot of damage. Exhaust onto Yellow Pete. This is not looking great, but Karthus getting a double kill, and an amazing Leona ultimate means 2 stuns. Hazard running away as well. Not liking this one. Krepo been exhausted. Flashes in, goes for the stun, lands on a Kog'Maw. Another one falls down for CLG.NA. Flashes coming out, but Big Fat not going to withstand that. That is a 4-for-1 right there, unless he can pick something up. Actually does pick one up, but it's not going to be enough. That Nexus will fall down, and CLG.EU going to take game 1, and CLG.NA are 1 game from elimination in the MLG Spring Championships.
Wow, what an amazing game there, and CLG.EU showing some real dominance in that matchup. A great team composition, and it looks good on both teams. That really wasn't something that was just won from that champion select. Both teams did very well there.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal job on both sides. You can see, you know, the big playmakers that CLG.NA need in this tournament. And, you know, I thought about it coming in, and it's Graves, played by Doublelift, and it's AP Kog'Maw, played by Big Fat LP. They are the ones that had the kills. Doublelift, despite having a brutal lane, getting, I don't know if it was first blooded, but certainly getting one of those early ganks onto himself. Still with 12,000 gold in farm, managed to out-gold both Leona and Nocturne from the winning team, which is impressive considering how many Dragons and Barons those guys got for their money. But he kept up 330 minions, very, very good for being on the losing team. Still kept a 4-4 scoreline, and we'll see if CLG.NA could bring it back. We'll see you guys right after this.